Hello and welcome to Filling in the Gaps. I'm Justin.
I'm Darren.
And this episode we're going to do something that we did previously, which in the previous one we talked about story-light puzzle games that just really don't necessarily require an hour of talking about. This one, I think not necessarily puzzle games, at least mine are not necessarily puzzle games this time, but similar, shorter games that maybe don't require as much discussion. I'd like to start off mine with two free ones.
Okay.
So the first one I want to talk about is called Mandagon, and that's Mandagon. It is a pixel game that is all about exploration. It's not about death. It's not about health bars or combat. It's just a very light puzzle exploration game that is free, that will take you about an hour to play, and it's just good.
You told me about this ages ago, and I still haven't got around to playing it.
This is, I think, the first game that I left a review for on Steam because I just enjoyed it so much.
Right.
I think more people should play this, and at free, it's hard to argue against. And with 1 hour, again, it's really easy to get into and finish. And I really would like more of these short burst full experiences. And that's what I feel like you get with this one. The other one I want to say is Meteor 60 Seconds. So if a meteor was going to attack the planet and you knew you had 1 minute to live, what would you do? And that's the basic premise of this game. Would you run around and kill everyone? Would you run around and kiss everyone? It's fun. It's a bit crazy. It's very adventure game, point and click style at times. And again, free, but just so much fun. Again, you could probably do all of this in an hour or under an hour, but it is a great full experience, I feel. What's yours?
I've got, first on my list is a game called Four Last Things, which is, I don't know how to explain it. It's kind of like, the artwork is all Renaissance art paintings, pretty much, and you're this character and you have to commit the 7 sins so that the church can forgive you of them. It's just some weird loophole thing. It's funny, man. It's a really funny game. It doesn't take long, but it's a classic kind of point and click game. The reason I've chosen this is because they're kickstarting a new game, which I should have researched and written down because I only thought about this now, but they're doing a new game, and if it's anything like this, I'm going to be all over it when it comes out, because Four Last Things is just so funny, man. It's so funny. If you've got like a broken sword kind of itch to scratch, this is very similar, but not as obscure, like use CD player on this to do this and get this. It's just like, basically, you know what you have to do. You have to commit 7 sins. So it's like, lust. All right, how do I do that? Well, let's find some naked ladies to look at. Gluttony. There's a guy who is like the king of pie eating. So like, you've got to challenge him to a duel. Yeah. It's hilarious, man. It's well written. It's funny. It's very Monty Python and kind of visually with all that. What would you call that art style? Like where they've got like old kind of classic paintings and then like something slapped in front of it, like some kind of cartoon figure almost slapped in front of it. You know what I'm talking about, though, yeah?
I know what you're talking about, and I would just reference it as Terry Gilliam because I don't know anybody else who does it quite like that.
Yeah. So Four Last Things, give that a shot. It's fun. It's a lot of fun. And another game, if we're going to stay in the art kind of thing, is Gorogowa. Gorogowa is a game that's all about art, basically. It's like you've got a 4-sectioned painting, and your goal is to navigate this boy from one section of the painting to the exit. And you do that by sliding squares across, looking through keyholes, and looking through holes that open up back sections of the painting that then you've got to rearrange those, and kind of, it's a really interesting puzzle game. It's pretty cool. It's like, I don't like slide square puzzles. I've always hated them. But this does it really well. And it's pretty. It's got a great soundtrack. It's very relaxing. And it's almost like a casual game. Like, you can get into this no matter what kind of level you think you're at. And you can just go ahead and play it. It's art in itself. And it gets my vote.
The next game I want to recommend comes with a bit of a caveat. The game is called Pinstripe. And I do like the game, but there are some things that I would caution people about. The first thing is that it's only 3 hours, So at $16, it's a bit steep.
It's quite pricey, yeah.
You're also going to be doing a lot of repetition. This is a bit of puzzle, a bit of exploration, and then you get different powers so that you can come back to things you couldn't find before and get them. There's a lot of backtracking and going back and forth, but there's a small story here which is nice but doesn't really require a lot of discussion, I don't think. And the puzzles are sometimes good and sometimes not. It's a bit of a mixed bag, but the whole experience, I think, is worth it. But I would definitely recommend trying to get it on sale, in a bundle, something like that.
Because we got it. I've got it as well. I think we got it in the same bundle.
I believe so, yeah. So keep that in mind. But Pinstripe is an interesting game and worth looking into.
Next one, I'm kind of cheating here by putting 2 games in at the same time. They're Plug and Play and Kids. These are really... They're always quite... The reason I was put off by them, because they're quite pricey, and the game, honestly, is 15 minutes long. And it's not really a game. It's more of like a stress toy that you would use, like you have on your desk, like some kind of squishy ball. Basically, you click on things, they do things, and you get to see something happen. There is a story, and some people have gone... Actually, maybe this would be a great filling in the gaps, because I could talk for an hour about the meaning of life in these games, because that's all there is to do, but filling in gaps, because there's virtually nothing there. But there is a kind of creation story, and it's just like you control these faceless little dudes that can plug into each other, or unplug from each other. And then in Kids, you get to control large groups of them, and you just like mouse over them, and it's just very satisfying, man. It's very fluid. It's a stress toy. And honestly, that's the best way I can describe it. You can like pick them up and throw them into holes, and they're just endlessly falling into these holes. Or you can like mouse over them, and they do this like Mexican wave of clapping, and it's just weird. But it's fun. It's 15 minutes of stress relief. But like I said, I think they're $5 per game, so it's like for 15 minutes, it's a lot.
The next one on my list is called DLC Quest. Have you played this one?
No, what's that?
DLC Quest is pretty brilliant. It's a very meta humor game about gaming and video games. You start with virtually nothing. And in this game, what that means is your game doesn't function the way that it should. And you have to platform and explore to get all the things that should make it work. So, for example, I think you have to go through and find even just a way to animate yourself walking. You're just a character just floating around until you can actually get that. The background doesn't move in a way that we're so used to now, where you are walking and the background moves at a different speed so that it gives the illusion of space. You earn those things as you explore and find them. And a lot of comedy about, well, shouldn't this just be part of the game? Not anymore. Now it's DLC. So it's a lot of jabs at the DLC content and not getting what really should be part of a game in the beginning. It's about 3 hours. It is full of good humor. It's a fun little exploration and meta humor game that I would definitely recommend.
Sounds a bit like Pony Island in a sense.
I could see that, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm interested, definitely. Next up for me is not something that's not as fun and happy as that. It's a bit depressing. It's called Old Man's Journey. Old Man's Journey is like a puzzle game where you have to navigate a map, and basically you've got imagine a painting in front of you with hills, and there's like several hills, and you can raise those hills up or down, and your objective is to move your man to the exit. And so some of the hills move up quite high, some of them only a little bit, and you have to like just manipulate this painting to get your guy to walk all the way to the back of the map and get to his exit point. The puzzle is fairly straightforward usually. There's a couple there that are that had me stumped, but it's not really about the puzzles. It's about the story. It's an old man who's going back to see his family. He's been kind of, I think he left his wife and kids behind, and now he's regretting it, and he's old. And basically, as you go through the maps, you find these benches, and the guy has a seat, and then he remembers something from his past. And yeah, it's a really heartwarming, touching kind of story. A little bit depressing, but it does have a happy ending. So it's all sunshine and rainbows at the end.
Minor spoilers.
Yeah, just delete that. Yeah, it's a great game. It's good.
My next one is another Quest game. This one is Office Quest.
Okay, I've definitely never heard of this one.
I'm sure you have heard of this one.
Quest?
Yeah. Office Quest is a point-and-click game. It is short-ish. For point-and-click, it's 4 hours. But it is $9 now, but I know I didn't pay that. So, again, try to get it on sale. Office Quest is a unique appearance to the game as far as you're in an office, but everybody is wearing animal costumes, but in a cartoonish way. And so you see the human face, but it's kind of like those little kid costumes where they're in an animal suit. You see their face, but their face is coming out of the mouth.
Yeah.
But everybody in this office is wearing them. It makes fun of office life. It has comedy. It's very weird. If you like point and click, this is a good one. It's got a good look, and it's kind of funny. So give it a try.
Yeah, I never heard of that. Yeah. My last one is a free game, which you definitely should play this one for sure. It's called Red Trigger, and it's a Portal, Talos Principle cube type game where you have this gun that you can. There's certain parts of the it's very much actually it's a lot like Cube, where you point the gun at something and basically you can raise that platform or lower it or stick it out, put it back in, and again it's like getting to an exit. But the difficulty ramps really hard, man. It's like the first few levels, oh yeah, this is fun, and then you get about 20 minutes in, it's like, wow, this is really tough. But it's free. It looks great. It's been on Steam for a long time. It's still very popular. I just never heard about it. But yeah, Red Trigger is. I don't want to say too much about it because I haven't finished it myself because it is tough. And I think, who knows, man, maybe we'll end up doing a whole episode on this one, because if we did one on Cube, we could definitely do one on this. But just want to look out for.
My last game is a game that I know you've played a lot of and that you enjoyed quite a lot, and that is Choo Choo.
Oh, yeah.
Choo Choo is about $10. It's only about 2.5 hours of gameplay to finish, but I really feel like this game has replay value, particularly if you have a child.
Yeah, I think my playtime now is I'm up to like almost the 20-hour mark on that game, and it's none of it. Well, 2.5 of it is from me. Yeah,
Choo Choo is the closest thing I could imagine to watching a cartoon, but also getting to control the cartoon. You are clicking everywhere to figure out what you need to do to make it to the next stage, to try and get this cherry back that was stolen from you way back in the beginning of the game. There's a ton of comedy to it. Clicking on a lot of the extra things can just add to a lot of the comedy. But there's also some really challenging point and click stuff that took me a while to get through. Yeah. And that adds into the 2.5 hour playtime. If you know what you're doing, you can do it much faster. But it's just fun. Like, this is one of the most fun game experiences I've had, I think.
And it looks great as well, yeah. It's so pretty to look at. It's a great game, yeah. I like it.
Do you want to talk about your favorite part of the game?
No, I think we're gonna start a new section, yeah?
Yeah.
For our other show, yeah?
Yeah, if you want. Well, with that being teased. Yeah. It was already out. I'll have to edit that out completely, yeah. But yeah, that's fine. So that's a few games for you to try out. Some stuff that's shorter, some stuff that we probably won't spend as much time talking about, but we love, and we hope that you will too.
Gaps filled and more gaps created.